A very good morning to one and all. It's an honor to welcome you all to the South Zone Vice Chancellors Conference on Implementation of NEP 2020. We start today's program with the invocation, and I request you all to kindly rise for the same.
Shri Bhajata Akhila Jai Shri Maitri Bhajata Akhila Jai Shri Atmavadeva Parāyapi Pashyata Atmavadeva Parāyapi Pashyata Yudham Jajata Spardha Jajata Yudham Jajata Spardha Jajata Jajata Parmeshwara Kramama Kramana Jajata Parmeshwara Kramama Kramana Maitri Bhajata Akhila Jayate Maitri Bhajata Akhila Jayate Janani Prithvi Kamadughaste Janani Prithvi Kamadughaste Janako Devah Sakala Bhajano Janako Devah Sakala Bhajano Damyata Dayadham Janata Damyata Dayadham Janata Deva Bhuya Sakala Jana Deya Bhuya Sakala Janana Deyo Bhuya Sakala Janana Deyo Bhuya Sakala Janana Deyo Bhuya Sakala Janana.
To light the lamp. Please, sirs. Let the light guide us to the zenith of knowledge. I now request Professor S. Vaidya Subramaniam, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Shastra Deemed University, to welcome the August gathering.
Distinguished chairpersons of UGC and NCVET, Professor Jagdish Kumar and Dr. Kalsi, respectively, my good friend, Professor Kattimani, a very distinguished gathering of academic intelligentsia from various universities of the South, friends from the print and the electronic media, my faculty colleagues, and student sarathis who have come from different institutions, the ambassadors of NEP 2020. A very good morning to all of you. I am extremely happy to welcome all of you on behalf of UGC and the co-organizers, the Central Tribal University of Andhra Pradesh and SASTRA Deemed University, and on my personal behalf to this South Zone Vice Chancellors Conference on the implementation of NEP 2020. I am extremely happy for a variety of reasons, but given that this is a time-bound conference, let me quickly highlight the top 3 reasons. One, that the entire conference for the day is going to be led by very 2 distinguished leaders of the higher education ecosystem who have a multidimensional experience of not only framing policies, but administering them and also delivering them with their hands-on experience. Both Professor Jagdish Kumar and Dr. Kalsi come to Shastra to share their insights and be with us for the day's proceedings to ensure that the NEP 2020 becomes a working reality. And in their effort to do that, they have assured that they will be with us throughout the day. And this is one rare opportunity for all of us to fall back on the expertise that they bring together. So friends, please first put your hands together to welcome these 2 distinguished academic leaders. Secondly, the timing of this conference is also so appropriate that I think this is the first zonal conference on NEP 2020 implementation after the Prime Minister's launch of Viksit Bharat on December 11th. And those words still ring fresh when the Prime Minister said, no longer it is the time for ideation. We don't have to be shopping for ideas, but now it's the time for action, which means that it is the time to implement NEP 2020. 3 years plus have gone after the announcement of NEP 2020, and all the stakeholders together have gotten their acts together to make sure that there is enough sensitization and awareness on NEP 2020, that no longer we should be spending time on creating awareness, but use much of the productive time that lies ahead of us on implementation. So on that count, this is so appropriate from a timing perspective that it is coming after the Viksit Bharat 2047 with a clear clarity on the purpose of the conference, that this is all about implementation of NEP 2020. The third reason is that I see this conference as the kind of a Dakshin Kumbh, which means just as the Kumbh Mela sees the convergence of the holy rivers, this, in my opinion, sees the convergence of very distinguished leaders from the academic ecosystem from the Southern Territory of India. And give or take, I think we can easily, by any easy estimate, we have close to around 200 very distinguished leaders from different institutions, each of them with an average experience of at least a minimum average experience of 25 years, making it probably an event that brings together 5,000 years of combined academic wisdom in thick blood and flesh packed in a single auditorium, in a single campus, which will be deliberating on the implementation of NEP 2020. And that is why I see this as a teaching learning opportunity for all of us. And all of us have to become students today, and at the same time become teachers today and exercise this dual role of being a teacher and a student, because we have a lot of time to share some of the best practices that we have in place in our university, and also learn from our peers from other distinguished institutions on how to take this implementation of NEP 2020 forward, because NEP 2020 is not something that can be implemented overnight. The shelf life of that is more than 30 years. So we are making a good beginning, and let us all come together to make sure that this one-day conference on the implementation of NEP 2020 is productive in many forms, and each of us will leave this campus this evening with the satisfaction that they have contributed and they've also learned as they go back to their universities. Thank you very much. I welcome all of you once again to this conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and privilege to request Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, Chairman, University Grants Commission, to put forth his opening remarks and talk us through the conference objectives. Please, sir.
Professor Vaidya, Dr. Kalsi, and my distinguished colleagues, it gives me immense pleasure to be amongst you. You are all leaders in education coming from different states of southern part of India. We have been conducting these NEP conferences of vice chancellors from across the country. We already held 2 such conferences in the Western region and the Northern region. And this is the 3rd such conclave that we are organizing. First of all, my thanks to Professor Vaidya for coming forward to conduct this event on this beautiful campus. And this city also is historical. I'm coming to this city for the first time. I hope you will have an opportunity to go around this university and also this city and make use of this opportunity. Friends, for too long, our Indian higher education remained so rigid. And our system also is too diverse and one of the largest in the world. Our system did produce outstanding people, our educational system. But the challenge for us now is, can we scale it up? Can we continue to produce many more outstanding people through our educational system? One of the things that we need to do as educational institutions and leaders of the educational institutions is to focus on excellence and to provide a rewarding learning experience to our students so that they will become catalysts for positive change in the society. That is the ultimate objective of the education that we would like to provide to our students. But somehow we couldn't stick on to this path. And fortunately, in 2020, the National Education Policy was unveiled, and it has provided us a roadmap on how to focus on excellence, how to make sure that the education that we provide to our students is holistic, skill-based, innovative. There are many, many reforms that we need to bring in our educational system. If you want to bring these reforms, for many of us, it may appear to be an uncharted territory that we have to explore. And that's the reason why we see some kind of apprehension in the minds of some people, at least, on the utility of these reforms. And as educational leaders, it is our responsibility to tell everybody, to tell the people who are part of our system, that unless we explore the uncharted territory, we will not be able to bring the change that we would like to see in our educational system. Now, let me tell you what needs to be done in order to do this. You know, today AI has become a buzzword. Although, as researchers, we have known it for decades in the labs. Artificial intelligence word was first coined in 1955. But in the recent past, it has become a common term to be used by general public, because we all know that AI is going to invade our lives, all aspects of life, and it's going to bring a lot of changes, the way we interact with each other, the way we conduct ourselves. But there is another AI that we all must be aware, we all must be practicing. And that AI is not artificial intelligence, but it is being adventurous and innovative. Let us all embrace this AI, which is adventurous and innovative. Let me explain to you what this means. Adventurous means exploring unknown territories, pushing the boundaries in order to achieve breakthrough results. And there are many such examples. J.C. Bose, for example, was a person who was adventurous. All through his professional career, he focused on studying the radio waves and wireless communication. But after his superannuation, he started looking at the plant physiology. There was criticism, there was ridicule, there was opposition to the kind of results that he produced. But he was not deterred by that. Later, eminent scientists across the globe recognized the value of the results generated by J.C. Bose's work. He was adventurous in that context. And we all need to be adventurous as educational leaders. In spite of the criticism, the resistance that we face while exploring these unknown territories in the educational reforms. J.C. Bose was also very innovative. In those times, he didn't raise his hand saying that I didn't have the equipment to make measurements of those sensitive changes in the plant responses against the given stimuli. He built indigenous systems. He built so sensitive instruments, it could detect very minute changes in the behavior of the plants. That is being innovative. Today, are we ready to be adventurous and innovative? The purpose of these meetings is precisely to brainstorm on how we can be adventurous, how we can be innovative, so that we will bring a positive change in our higher education system. Let me tell you also, and it's my pleasure to inform you, that as we travel across the country and meet educational leaders such as you, I see a lot of positivity. I hear vice chancellors coming and telling me, we have implemented this, we have implemented this reform, and we are planning on doing this. There is so much of excitement about implementing the NEP. I think we need to keep this momentum and continue to implement more and more reforms. The thumb rule for us, because our country has so many aspiring students, is to do things on a mass scale and to also ensure that because students have different kinds of cognitive abilities, we must ensure that we provide them individualized, personalized education. And one thing that we neglected in our education was on focusing on the learning outcomes. And time has come for us, therefore, to relook at where we want to take our education forward in future and how we can use the NEP 2020 as a roadmap. I would like to emphasize on a couple of things before I conclude. I will be available, myself and Dr. Kalse will be available for extensive discussions and for question answers during this day. But however, I would like to urge all of you, whatever we want to do in the education field cannot be realized unless we focus on the capacity building of our teachers. They are the instruments of change in our educational system. UGC has launched the Malaviya mission of teacher training, and we have 111 centers across the country. We are reaching out to all the universities to encourage these teachers to register in this program and get trained. It is just a 2 weeks long online training program in real time. The resource persons will give their lectures and interact with the teachers. I urge all of you, please make sure that each and every teacher becomes part of this Malaviya mission teacher training program. And during the course of the event today, we will focus on many other theme areas that we have decided. We have 10 theme areas, and you will be brainstorming, and then we will have further discussions and take this event forward. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. You are a true inspiration, and we salute your leadership and vision. And we also assure you that with your guidance, we'll strive for holistic excellence stemming from adventurous innovations. Moving forward, we now are going to see a short film on UGC initiatives on NEP.
नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति के विभिन्न पहलुओं के बारे में विस्तृत जानकारी मिलेगी। जितनी जानकारी और ज्यादा जानकारी ज्यादा स्पष्ट होगी, फिर उतना ही आसान इस राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति का implementation भी होगा।
My heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has been part of the NEP journey so far. Let us continue to strive together for a better and brighter future for our children.
The University Grants Commission is a leading implementation body for the National Education Policy 2020. UGC has been taking a number of initiatives since the notification of NEP, which are being displayed in this video ahead. NEP Sarthi Student Ambassador for Academic Reforms in Transforming Higher Education in India. This initiative aims to bring students together as active participants in implementing the NEP 2020, where students can engage meaningfully with the reforms undertaken by the UGC. 721 NEP Sarthis from 262 higher educational institutions have been selected by UGC till now.
UTSA, undertaking transformative strategies and actions in higher education. The portal will effectively track and support the implementation of the National Education Policy 2020. All HEIs can log into the portal using the ASHE code provided to them. Total 1,007 higher educational institutions have already registered on the UTSA portal.
The UGC has constituted 5 zonal committees to develop a roadmap for the effective implementation of the NEP 2020. The committees have 5 zones: Southern, Northern, Western, Eastern and Northeastern and Central. The first conference of the Western Zone Vice Chancellors Conference was held at Statue of Unity, Gujarat on 26 October 2023, which was attended by more than 200 Vice Chancellors and NEP coordinators. The second conference, Northern Zone Vice Chancellors Conference, was held at Punjab University on 22nd and 23rd November 2023, which was attended by more than 200 Vice Chancellors and NEP coordinators. Academic Bank of Credits, enabling students' mobility across higher education institutions. ABC helps in seamless integration of skills and experiences into a credit-based system. More than 2 crores 50 lakh registrations have already been done on ABC. The provision of multiple entry and exit provides much-needed flexibility and appropriate exit options for learners who may discontinue their studies in different phases and wish to re-enter to continue education at higher levels. This initiative shall curtail the dropout rate, improve GER by offering flexibility in curricula and novel course options to students. National Credit Framework. NCRF is a single framework to integrate the credits earned through school education, higher education, and vocational and skill education. It gives levels from 4.5 to 8 for higher education. National Higher Education Qualifications Framework, NHEQF, defines learning outcomes of graduate students. It also brings higher educational institutions to common level of benchmarking. NHEQF enables students, parents, HEIs, employers to understand the nature and level of expected learning outcomes. Common University Entrance Test (CUET) is a fair and transparent examination system for UG and PG admissions, reducing the burden on students and teachers. 19.2 lakh students appeared for CUET UG in 2023. Appointment of Ombudsperson. The UGC provides for the establishment of Students' Grievances Redressal Committees, SGRC, by all higher educational institutions. It is also mandatory to appoint an ombudsperson at the university level. The students can approach the committee or the ombudsperson if their grievances are not being addressed. Based on the principle of light but tight, the new UGC regulations provide streamlined and simplified processes for institutions seeking deemed university status, ensuring a balance between autonomy and accountability. The regulations also introduce a new category, distinct institutions, with a focus on teaching and research in a unique discipline. Conferment of autonomous status upon colleges. The new UGC regulations provides flexibility to colleges seeking autonomy. UGC has also launched an application portal. CU Chayan, a unified portal for faculty recruitment for central universities. Search and browse career opportunities in academia across all central universities at one place. With the aim to provide an international dimension to Indian higher education, UGC has introduced norms which allow top foreign universities to set up campuses in India. UGC has also launched application portal for foreign universities to apply. UGC regulations on twinning, joint and dual degree program, provides global exposure to Indian students, international curriculum, and attract foreign students. There is no prior approval or equivalence required. More than 60 Indian higher educational institutions are collaborating with top foreign universities. UGC also encourages all HEIs to establish Office for International Affairs in their campus. Institutions can also set up a dedicated Alumni Connect cell to foster their alumni network. Framework for Global Citizenship Education in Higher Education. This framework provides inputs on the knowledge, skills, and value system required by students to become global citizens with deep-rooted pride in being Indian. The Indian Knowledge System. NEP 2020 emphasizes on the promotion of Indian languages, arts and culture, and integration of Indian knowledge systems, IKS, at all levels of education. UGC guidelines aim to train teachers to familiarize and enthuse them about IKS subjects. The UGC guidelines on IKS provide for higher educational institutions to offer short-term credit-based courses on Indian heritage and culture. The courses may include universal human values, Vedic mathematics, yoga, Ayurveda, Sanskrit, Indian languages, music and classical dance forms to attract international learners to India. Empaneling local artists in HEIs. Empanelment of artists, artisans in residence, in HEIs as Guru, Param Guru and Parmeshthi Guru will harness the creative talent and intellectual resources available within the country. Another significant initiative is the guidelines on incorporating Indian knowledge systems, IKS, into curricula. At least 50% of credits allotted to IKS should be related to the major discipline. Malvi Mission Teachers Training Program. To train our teachers and contribute to their capacity building, UGC has launched this full-fledged teachers training program. This program aims to train more than 15 lakh teachers through the 111 Madan Mohan Malviya Teachers Training Centers spread across the country. Establishment of research and development cells in HEIs. RDC will create a conducive environment for enhanced research productivity, encourage collaboration at the local, national, and international levels, and facilitate greater access to research. Total 1495 R&D cells have been established in higher educational institutions. Minimum standards and procedures for award of PhD degree. Through these new UGC regulations, there will be ease for taking admissions in PhD. Curriculum and credit framework for undergraduate programs. UGC framework provides 4-year UG programs as honors and honors with research. Exit points at first, second, third year available with option to rejoin within 7 years for students. Pursuing 2 academic programs simultaneously. Students can undergo 2 programs, 1, both online, 2, 1 online and 1 physical, and 3, both physical. Internship Apprenticeship Embedded Degree Program. With the help of UGC guidelines, students can take up to 20% of total credits by doing internship or apprenticeship. Professor of Practice. Bringing distinguished experts from various fields such as engineering, science, technology, management to mentor the students. UGC has also launched Professor of Practice portal. Guidelines on life skills. It has been introduced with the aim to encourage life skills in students, seeking participation from both the students and the faculty. Skills such as communication, professionalism, management, and leadership and universal human values are considered to be crucial for the holistic development of learners. Online and open and distance learning education. Well-performing HEIs are permitted to offer online programs to achieve the desired gross enrollment ratio and improve access and provide an enabling environment for all. Swayam, study web of active learning for young aspiring minds, aims to take the best teaching and learning resources to all. Students can avail of up to 40% credits in a semester through the Swayam platform and can transfer credits to the parent institute. Transforming single-stream HEIs into multidisciplinary institutions. The UGC guidelines provide a roadmap for single-stream institutions to transform as multidisciplinary institutions by merging, forming clusters, and new departments. Accessibility guidelines and standards for higher educational institutions and universities. These guidelines ensure that standards are well kept and maintained for Divyangjans in campuses. Credit-based course on pedagogical aspects for teaching Divyangjan and specific learning disabilities. These guidelines focus on pedagogical aspects of teaching persons with disabilities, which will aim to provide flexibility in the selection of courses to them. Fostering social responsibility and community engagement in higher educational institutions in India. The UGC guidelines provide 2 credit courses for students. Guidelines on Mulya Pravah 2.0, Inculcation of Human Values and Professional Ethics in Higher Education Institutions. UGC has guidelines on promotion of physical fitness, sports, students' health, welfare, psychological and emotional well-being at higher educational institutions of India. Guidelines for Women's Cell. Providing basic facilities and amenities for a safe, secure environment for women in HEIs.
Friends, we have just now seen many reforms being rolled out by UGC in the video. It is our collective responsibility to make sure that these reforms are implemented at a rapid pace across the country so that the higher educational system in our country is transformed.
For complete details about all the NEP initiatives, you can visit UGC website www.ugc.gov.in.
to more than 8 crores by 2035. Now, we have more than 1,100 universities, more than 45,000 affiliated colleges, 9,000 plus AICTE approved institutions, and the number of teachers in the higher education itself is more than 15 lakhs. In the skilling ecosystem, now we have alumni, we have people which are going through the skilling ecosystem, and the total number is about 11 crores. Workforce is 47 million, Now, 50% of this workforce would need upskilling in next 3 to 4 years' time, if we have to really fight out the global challenge. However, there are 26 crore students, 26 crore people who are neither in education, nor in employment, nor in training. So that's the biggest challenge for us. How do we bring them in? Now, there are about 200 courses at UG level, some at PG level, and 80% of the students in higher education are in about these 200 UG courses. And out of these 80%, 80% are in only 10% UG courses. Now that's a situation. So that means we have to really spread it. We have to be multidisciplinary in our approach. You heard enough about the national education policy. The film you saw by UGC has dealt with most of the issues in a very lucid manner. I will concentrate more on the national credit framework, which is the implementation of the NEP. Now, NCRF has been notified by UGC in April 2023, and this has been adopted by the entire skilling ecosystem as well as the school education ecosystem. NCRF operates for National Higher Education Qualification Framework, National Skill Qualification Framework, as well as National Curriculum Framework. It actually integrates all the qualification frameworks. Now, what it actually does, it enables integration and creditization of all learnings from academic education, from vocational education and skilling, as well as from experiential learning. So basically, you are integrating your learning from all three dimensions. This is the essence of NEP. So integration and intermingling of education, skilling, and work experience. You have to be learning outcome-based education backed by very credible assessments. Similarly, all hard separations have been removed. You understand that very well. Establishing equivalence and mobility between general and vocational education through MIMI options. We'll look at that in a short while. Integration of vocational skills, employability skills, emerging and future technology skills with online and blended learning. That has been done. Enabling creditization of learners with varying learning abilities, enabling provision for recognition of prior learning as well as lifelong learning. And then internationalization and international equivalence of education, educational qualification and skills. Now look at this three-dimensional figure. On x-axis, you have academic education. On y-axis, you have skill education. On z-axis, you have experiential learning. And you can clearly see the levels 1 to 8. Level 1 to 4 is school education. Level 4.5 to level 8 is higher education. Similarly, on skill axis, you see 1 to 8. And you can very, very clearly see that as you go along on the skill axis, the entry qualification gets tougher and tougher. For example, if somebody wants to enter at level 4.5, he should be either in UG education or diploma with experience or 12th with longer experience. So he can enter 4.5, skill level 4.5. Now, 1,200 hours of learning per year has been prescribed under the NCRF. That means 40 credits per year or 20 credits per semester. And for the higher education institution, the formula of 15, 30, 45 applies. Whereas for skill education and for school education, it is average of 30 hours per cadet, because there it is very difficult to distinguish between the theory and the practical part of it. Now, up to 50% credits can be earned from the skill courses. assessment is mandatory for earning any kind of credits. And NCRF recognizes and enables creditization of all learnings. So whatever you are teaching in the institutions or whatever activities are going on in the institutions can all be creditized. It's up to you. You design your curriculum in such a way, you define how many credits to get from what kind of courses or what kind of activities, and how you are going to assess those activities. As long as you can do that, you can creditize almost anything, including sports activities, fine arts, yoga, NCC, Shramdan, in addition to your internship, apprenticeship, experiential learning, on-the-job training. So every kind of learning. Even assessment is a learning. So the time you spend on assessment is also counted towards 1200 hours of learning. So that NCRF table you would have seen in the NCRF notification of UGC. This is one single continuum, right from your foundational skills, foundational education, to preparatory education, to middle, secondary, senior secondary, UG, PG, and then PhD. It's a continuum. For the first time this has happened, and India is the first country to adopt credit system even for school education. It's nowhere in the world. And I'm very happy to say that school education has also notified their guidelines for creditization in school education. There was a high-level committee constituted under Professor M. Jagdish, which looked at higher education, school education, as well as skill education. And the SOPs have been framed and issued in a very comprehensive manner, so that there is very smooth movement from school education to higher education, skill education. One can go in at any point, come out at any particular point. So the basic principle of creditization is that first you define the learning outcomes for any learning. Map it with qualification notches, courses or MCs, and you assign it with the appropriate NCRF level. This you assign through the level descriptors, which are part of the learning outcomes. So you define that this learning is 2 credits at NCRF level 5. And after doing that, you define the assessment criteria and methodology. And once the student goes through the course, you conduct the assessment as per the criteria and then award the credits to that particular student. So in assessment, it has to be very, very credible. We have been using one singular method or 2 methods or 3 methods, but there are 10 methods of assessment. All I can say is that all these methods have been given under NCRF as well. Under the SOPs which we are issuing, you will have detailed guidelines on these, right from your diagnostic assessment to formative assessment, summative assessment, spatial assessments, criteria-based, reference-based, AI-based, peer-to-peer. Now, all methods will have to be used, but it has to be very credible. Now, that is the bottom line. The NCRF also provides for how you assign credits for subjects, how you accumulate credits, how you store credits, under what conditions you can redeem credits, how credits can be transferred from one institution to the other institution. So all these would be available under the SOPs. Now, the draft SOPs have already been put in for public consultation on the website of UGC. Now, these are also available on the website of the NCVT and the school education. And I would request all of you to kindly go through that and send your comments so that we are benefited from that. Now, the courses, as you know, in school education, Honorable Prime Minister wanted even preschool should be creditized. So you can see preschool has been creditized at 0.1 credits per year. And it goes up to 4 credits, up to level 4 in 12th class, level 3 in 10th class, level 2 in 8th class. Similarly, for higher education, level 4.5 to level 8. And you have broad learning outcomes defined for every level. And these broad learning outcomes have been mapped with the international outcomes. So when you go for international equivalence, it'll be much easier for you. Because with every curriculum, if you define the learning outcomes, the equivalence is going to take much less time and will be much more credible. Similarly, the skill education deals with level 1 to level 8, because skill qualifications can be integrated both at school level as well as for the higher education level. So 4.5 and above, you can just pick up the qualifications, skill qualifications, which are already there on the National Qualification Register, and you can make it a part of the curriculum. You don't have to ask NCVT. You don't have to do that at all, unless you want to run a parallel skilling ecosystem within your institution. Then you become the awarding body of NCVT, otherwise it's not required at all. You just pick up the qualification, put it as part of the curriculum, let it be approved by your highest academic body, but then you follow the guidelines for its implementation, whatever has been prescribed under the qualification, because it prescribes the infrastructure, the kind of instructors you need, the kind of software which is required, the kind of labs it requires, the kind of experiments it will have. So all that is prescribed under each qualification. And there are more than 7,000 qualifications which are now available. So I was explaining that 50%, up to 50% of the credits you can have from the skill education, and this skill education can also be under NHEQF or NSQF. So it could be both the higher education qualification framework as well as from the skill education qualification framework. So you pick it up, put it as part of the curriculum, get it approved by the highest body, and you simply implement this. But if in case you want to run the skill qualification as a standalone qualification, not for your regular students, even for students outside your regular students, you can do that. In that case, there's a very easy process of getting the recognition from NCVT. So all qualification in that case, whatever qualification you run would be approved at the national level. And the body which approves those qualifications has the representative of the UGC and AICT also as part of that committee. That's a national level committee. And once it is approved, the credits are available at the national level. And best part is that now we have provided for integration of credits from the MNCs and Indian industry. For example, now if Microsoft, Oracle, IBM, they are running courses, the students, after passing out from your institution, they are going to these institutions and they are actually doing these courses so that they get employed, their employability is improved. Now these courses can be made part and parcel of the curriculum, because we have now found, we have notified a way to make these courses as NSQF aligned. We assign credits to these courses, and the conditions are very, very simple. Now, if you really look at it, suppose there is one MNC, you want to pick up their courses. If the annual turnover of the MNC is more than $2 billion, and they have trained 250,000 people of their own employees or employees for their customers or students, and out of that 10,000 is in India, you can simply do it. Similarly, if there is a leading Indian enterprise with an annual turnover of 8,000 crore, you can pick up their courses. The idea is that all these bodies, once the student get training on their systems, it can be part and parcel of the curriculum itself. So student would also do it with a lot of interest, and he will get creditized for that. So storage accumulation, you heard about ABC, and you heard about how the student has to register for ABC and how actually the credits are transferred. So I'm not going to go into that. So with that, no, I would like to end, but I understand that there are 10 parallel sessions. And in these parallel sessions, a lot of discussions would happen, a lot of questions would come up. And I'm happy to answer any of the queries which are generated out of these discussions. We would be available throughout the day here. Thank you so very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for so eloquently taking us through the challenges in the Indian ecosystem and also telling us strategies that are available to equip us to overcome these hurdles. I now request Professor T.V. Kattimani, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Central Tribal University of Andhra Pradesh, to propose the vote of thanks.
Namaskar. Good morning. Professor M. Jagdish Kumar, Honorable Chairman of UGC. Dr. Nirmaljit Singh Kalsiji, Chairman, National Council for Vocational Education and Training. Honorable Vice Chancellor of this wonderful university, Professor Vaidya Subramanian, all my colleagues, academic leaders, on behalf of organizers, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Professor M. Jagdish Kumar. Always he is out of box in his thoughts and as well as our guidance. Sir, thank you very much. Dr. Nirmaljit Kalsi Saab, thank you very much. You are our always skill force. Here I would like to refresh you. Tamil Nadu is one of the such states where the first polytechnic was established in Coimbatore in the year 1946 by Govinda Swami Doreswamy Naidu, GD Naidu. In GDP, we know the contribution of Coimbatore in motor pumps, domestic as well as commercial, is 46+% contribution. In hosieries, dress material, it is more than 50%. All over India, our children are working in Tamil Nadu. This is such state of Indian state where skill is part of their DNA. Professor S. Vaidya Subramaniam, my good old friend, always a guiding force, has wonderfully we have organized with the help of others. On behalf of all of us, I congratulate you and extend my heartfelt thanks to you all. I once again extend my heartfelt thanks to all from Southern Indian academics leaders. We have come down here and contributing in a large scale. On behalf of organizing committee, once again, I extend my heartfelt thanks to you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. I now request all of you to kindly rise for the national anthem and sing along with us.
Jana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindhu Gujarat Maratha Dravida Uttara Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Ujjala Jaladhi Taranga तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दानक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Proceed. We solicit your fullest cooperation in taking the program move through the schedule. The tea break is till 10:25.